What up, Stackers? Big Zach McGee here. How are you doing today? It is a bright and chilly Saturday morning here on the 20th of February, and I don't have any new bullion pickups to show you this week, so I thought you might enjoy seeing my collection of seated Liberty coinage that I've picked up throughout the years. Now, they minted seated Liberty coinage from 1836 all the way up until 1891, and I'm going to work backwards from the biggest to the smallest here in this video because got a little bit of a story to tell with this. This was my first, the 1859 New Orleans was my very first seated Liberty coin that I picked up. I'll let you take a look here. And I remember when I got this, I had just got an eBay Bucks promotion, which spurs a lot of my acquisition times. But I couldn't find anything bullion related that I wanted to get that was a good enough deal. And so when those opportunities came up, I worked at expanding my my nice antique coins, going back, because I really am fascinated with U.S. history and with the coinage. And so I had picked up, I think my first silver dollar was a peace dollar, and then I got a graded version. I had several, just like cull peace dollars and things like that. And then I picked up a nice Morgan that was graded. And then I picked up a trade dollar. I was working my way backwards. I was thinking, how many different silver dollars can I get? Different varieties. And so when I picked this up after the trade dollar, this was probably the one coin that I bought, and I spent several $100s on it. And it's appreciated quite a bit in the years since I picked it up in value, which is really cool. But this really got me interested because of the time period that this was minted. This is right before the Civil War. And in fact, in New Orleans, in 1859, a really cool story I'm going to tell you in just a second. Let me show you one more. This is also from New Orleans, 1856. The O is the New Orleans Mint. And this is a half dollar. Some real kind of cool, colorful toning and subtly in the fields there. But so the New Orleans Mint, this is kind of an interesting story. When it was first built, it was not necessarily located in the best of places. There was some issues with the structural integrity, with the foundation kind of like, really wet ground or something like that. And so they needed to be updating. They were putting new columns in and all kinds of stuff. They ended up hiring a guy in 1854, 2 years before this was minted, who worked there from 1854 through 1859 when this one was minted. And his name was Pierre Beauregard. And that's a pretty famous name. We'll talk about that in just a second. But anyway, what he did was he went in there and put in different arches, fortified the foundation. He was a West Point graduate, by the way. And he had some engineering chops. And he also converted the machinery to steam power, which is really cool that these were minted with steam power at that time. And then also put in like a big smokestack and all that kind of stuff. He finished his work in 1859. 2 years later, he is the Confederate general that ordered the attack on Fort Sumter, which is crazy. It says the guy that worked on that mint is also the general that ordered the attack on Fort Sumter, which kicked off the Civil War. A little also interesting is that so in 1861 in January, Louisiana seceded from the Union, and the attack that Pierre Beauregard led was 2 months after that. It was in March of 1861. And then in the period that followed that, for about a year, the Confederacy actually made their own coinage. They had some, amount of bullion that was there, and they converted that to Confederate half dollars, I believe. I think they did almost 1 million Confederate half dollars. I've never seen one. I would love to see one. But anyway, and then after they ran out of bullion and couldn't print any more coinage, they used it to house Confederate soldiers. So then in 1862, Union forces, the U.S. Marines under Admiral David Farragut, retook New Orleans. And they put the United States flag on top of the U.S. Mint. And what's interesting is that, of course, the citizens, of New Orleans at that time, then looked at the mint as kind of like, they despised it. They looked at it as the presence of, the Union forces. And so a riverboat gambler by the name of Bruce Mumford, I think, I'll have to look at that. Let's see here. Yeah, Bruce Mumford. He climbed up to the top of the mint and ripped the flag down, ripped it up, and he like wore it as like a souvenir. Well, later the military governor of New Orleans caught him and then hung him from the flagpole. So like hung his body visibly so everyone could see. So some gruesome memories around this time when they made these coins, but fascinating history. All right, we're gonna move back. Now we got a quarter to show you. This one's from 1856. Philadelphia. Cool. Here's another interesting one. For only 3 years they made this coin. This is a Standing Liberty 20-cent piece. Crazy. 1875 to 1878 they made a 20-cent piece. I don't know why they would ever do that. And of course, it was discontinued because it was very, very similar to the quarter, and people would mistake it all the time. After a second, I'll show you the quarter and the 20-cent piece side by side. Very, very close in diameter. I mean, I just think it's bizarre. Why would they do that? So, if anyone knows any of the history behind that, feel free to leave that in the chat. All right. Here is the dime. Come on, focus. There we go. Okay, and then the smaller one here. This is the half dime, 1872. I'll give you a sense of. That's tiny. The half dime, Seated Liberty. It's really hard to get that to focus well and zoom in. So there you have it. That's my Seated Liberty collection. And for those of you that know me almost purely as a stacker, I haven't talked a ton about some of my more collectible coins, but it truly is a really fun hobby. This is the kind of stuff that I'm looking forward to passing on to my kids. And my methodology on it is just I buy what interests me, and so I kind of made up my mind a little more than a year ago that I wanted to have a U.S. typeset if I can. One of every coin that is not like every date or something like that, but like one of every kind of coin that they minted. That would be really, really cool. And of course, it gets really challenging when you get back to some of the late 18th century coins because they are so dang expensive. Anyway, so that's the kind of the genesis of why I kind of completed this out, but it's kind of neat to see, and it certainly has some fun stories that go along with collecting them. But there you have it, my Seated Liberty coin collection. Hope you enjoyed it, and some of the history from specifically the New Orleans Mint. But I'll catch you on the next one. This is Big Stack. We'll see you soon. Thanks.